Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
And welcome to another edition of Prop Bet Consistency here. Prop It Like It's Hot is the name. Thank you, Snoop, for allowing us to use that. I'm sure he's all in on that because I think he's a fantasy player. I know he's into sports. I know that's for sure. But unique setup this week. Colby is not with us. If you remember last week, Colby ran solo without me. This week, Colby is out of town. But I'm not going to run solo. Heck no, this is not about me. It's about Ron Rigney. So, Ron, we're reliving here our consistency show from Thursday night. So, welcome aboard. How you doing, man?
We're all kind of like the Cordell Stewarts of fantasy because we're all very versatile. We can, play a lot of different roles, and when called upon to come in and get a clutch game, we can all do that. I feel really confident about this.
Cordell Stewart. Wow. That is not the guy I thought you would pull up for that one, but
You're welcome.
a nice old school reference there, Cordell Stewart. Yeah, he's the man. He was the man, at least for a few games. I'm not sure how consistent he was. I'm not sure there was a lot of consistency there, but as always, we're part of the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast Network. We enjoy that, and we're glad that you guys are starting to listen to this show, and it's all about the prop bets, and most importantly, it's about the prop bet consistency tool that we have on Big Guy Fantasy Sports. You can go in there and read. There's a video for instructions, but you can read instructions as well. Very simple to use, and it's all included as part of your VIP package. And if you go in there and use the code PropBet, it'll save you $5. So only $14.99 for the whole season, and you get everything else. So if you're a full-time player, you're a season-long player, and maybe you do some DFS, and maybe you do some prop bets, you've got the best of all worlds because you've got the consistently cashing, you've got the prop bet consistency tool, and you have the clutch report, which has been updated, through week 4, and you can see who the most consistent players are in your season-long league. But we have one other special guest that we're very excited about having from Boom Fantasy. Super cool game is our man, Rick Rosen. Rick, welcome to the program, man.
Can I also be Cordell Stewart?
Of course.
You can.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love how Ron started it off. Cordell, that's a reference on this beautiful morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
How you doing, man?
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. We figured that there's some games out there that this prop bet consistency tool can be used, and Boom Fantasy is definitely one of them that we can kind of, put some players in, check them out, see how, they would run in under the game program and the yards rushing, yards receiving, and see where the best spots are. So. But more importantly, Rick, why don't you tell us about Boom Fantasy, where it came from, what you guys are doing, the amazing thing you guys are working with NBC Sports, which is super cool, and just kind of give us an update of why people should go there, why they, of course, should use code BGFS, which gets them an extra $10 in their deposit as well, and we'll continue to remind them of that.
Well, yeah, I think the prop consistencies and Boom Fantasy, if it's not a natural marriage, it's the start of a generational rom-com, one that we'll reference back to for years to come. Because Boom Fantasy is a completely different form of DFS that your standard listener is probably used to, in that we don't have fantasy points. Our questions are stat-based. They are rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions. That directly translates to props and prop consistency. And what you do in Boom is you don't fill out a lineup. There's no sleepers. There's no price adjustments. There's no, do I pay up for Julio Jones? There's no 150 MMR entries. What you do is you pick who's going to have more rushing yards out of 4 players. And then you pick who's going to have more receiving yards out of 4 players. Right now, we have a contest that is just those 2 questions, $33 to win $100. We are fast, casual DFS that you can fill out a contest in 60 seconds, have a great time, and have a chance to win a huge cash prize. We were previously known for a $1 million jackpot. We've dropped it in favor of smaller, winnable jackpots that function more like prop parlays. So it's $5 to win $15 or $33 to win $100. It's the same question at multiple price levels, and you're choosing passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, all through a predetermined list of players. We have contests for every single game on Sunday, so single game slates for every game. We don't care about showdowns. What do we care about? Showdown lineups. It's all specific stat guessing, and that's where prop consistency comes through. And if you want to keep that going, we also developed NBC Sports Predictor. We make Sunday Night 7 the official game of Sunday Night Football. You might see Mike Tirico chopping it up pregame about it. Over 150,000 users last week, 7 stat-based questions, $100,000 guaranteed every single Sunday. It's totally free to play, so it doesn't matter if you're in Indiana, can't play DFS, or
Ohio.
Ohio can't play DFS. Vegas
I can't play. I can't do prop bets.
Unbelievable. I'm playing a violin made out of my prop bet winnings. That's what I'm doing for you.
And see, I live in Florida where you can do pretty much anything you want. So,
yeah. A Florida man today.
Space, Florida man. Florida is just a lawless post-apocalyptic society.
Now, hey, Rick, explain to people on the jackpots, though, they have to use the app to play the jackpots, right?
Oh, yeah. You got to download the Boom Fantasy app.
Right.
iOS, the latest. Android is coming. Me and the Google Play Store have choice words, but get on the iOS App Store, download Boom Fantasy, get in there. We also have a free progressive jackpot. We put $25 in it each day, and that will run 3 times on Sunday. So you have 3 chances to win: the 1 p.m. slate, the 4 p.m. slate, and the prime time. And then we'll also do it again for Monday Night Football. That went up to $100, and 2 people split it last week. We just got winners, man. We just got winners.
Right. And I think that's the thing is people, everybody wants to play the lottery games on FanDuel and DraftKings and that. And, the key is that that's fine. Let those people do that. And you might get lucky, just like winning the lottery. But here's the thing. If you play like Boom and you win, you can win, $50 here, $30 there, all of a sudden that keeps building and building and building. And you've got a better chance and an easier chance to win. Isn't it all about winning? I mean, I'd rather, continue to play, small games, small dollars. But if I'm doubling, tripling my money, it's still winning. And that's more fun. Winning is more fun than, spending money and hoping and praying that you might win. Obviously winning the big thing is going to be very, very difficult. But, even if you place 200th, you might get what? I don't know, $100, $200 maybe, but you have to beat 15,000 people to do it. Here you could win $30 to $50, and you have to beat 6 people to do it. Heck, you could win $550 if you beat 6 people. 6 people, you could win. Now you got to put in $100, but yeah, you can put in $100, and all you got to do is beat 5 other people, and you win $550. So
exactly, and if I'm on Boom, I don't have to put $20 into a Millie Maker lineup and stack Bengals because of leverage.
Right.
Those things fall away when you look at alternatives to DFS, to alternative to traditional lineup construction DFS. This is straight props. It's the stat. We're looking at rushing yards, receiving yards. It doesn't matter if Mohamed Sanu throws a touchdown pass. It's not going to count for what we're measuring, right? I just want to know if he's going to have more catches than Zach Ertz. And that relates directly to consistency rankings, directly to prop betting, and that's why I think this is a really good fit.
Right. And so for those of you sitting out there and going, okay, Bob, I'm not on your site. I don't have this prop bet tool. Well, so here's what's cool about the prop bet tool. Now, it has pure prop bet consistency information. That's true. And if you're just playing pure prop bets, you can go in and see Jared Goff and move the slider for the rushing yards or the passing yards to see if consistently he's been doing that. But here's what I figured out is you don't use that section for Boom. What you do is you go down to the player game logs underneath that, which has 2017, 2018, and 2019 stats. And you can start typing in the boxes above. So let's say you want to do, the last 2 years for golf, or let's say you want to just do 2019, and okay, this week, this week you can go back up and go, okay, well, he's playing Seattle at home. So okay, his home game, average pass defense. Now you can go back down below, and under the home away section, type in home. Now it's sorted it down to, what he's done at home so far in 2019. If you want to do 2018, how did he do at home in 2018? Now you can see, okay, here's his passing yards. Wow, at home he does amazing, some amazing numbers.
Bingo.
So now you can compare that to the other three players and see, okay, based on this, it looks like Goff is a better choice because he's playing at home. He always has more passing yards at home, whatever the case may be. And, actually he was playing away against Seattle. I screwed that up. I said home. So he's playing away. So actually he's not a good choice because on the road he's terrible. I forgot he was playing away. Okay, Jared Goff is out. So we've eliminated one. Now let's move to the next player. So that's how you can use this data under the prop bet consistency. And you could even go into the opponent and see how they do against passing yards at home. So same thing. You can really do some good comparisons and analysis and, see who my best choice might be based on using this tool that you have at your fingertips with all kinds of great information. So that's how I could see it really applying well to Boom Fantasy, because it's not am I going over under? It's I'm comparing against guys, but I can use the stats that are there and sort it and use the tool at the bottom of the game logs to see who may be my best choice for rushing touchdowns or rushing yards or receiving yards or whatever the case may be. So that's how I see the prop bet tool really coming into play in the Boom game.
The way you make it sound, I might make it illegal for you to use consistency rating. It sounds like a cheat code.
Well, we'll see. I got to win some money first. I haven't really gotten in here to play it as much as I want to. But definitely, I know one thing. I won't mention the game because that's kind of competition. But I've been doing well in another game that is pure prop bets, and it's been going very well.
Well, legally you can't. It's Ohio, it's your Barry. But Ron, doesn't it make it sound like broken? Like, doesn't it make it sound like a cheat code?
Yeah, it immediately made me think of like the 30-man code for Contra. Like, it's just unfair.
Let's go.
Nice. Very nice. Any more stuff you want to talk about on the Boom game? I mean, first off, let's also talk about that it's not just for NFL. It has NBA. It has the college. It has baseball. So regardless of the sport you're into, you could go and play these games. I mean, if you're a big-time college football player and you think you know college football really well, they've got Saturday afternoon 6-question contest. Again, put in $100, you go win $550. If you know college, I don't know college. I mean, I know who they are, but I couldn't. I mean, I'm an Ohio State fan, and I'll put that in quotes. And I probably can only name 3 guys that play for that team. Sad, but it's
okay
because
really... every wide receiver that you can't name ends up as an NFL Pro Bowler.
Exactly. Yeah, the entire NFL is just going to be NFL Pro Bowl wide receiver, and I think they got 3 more guys that are just as good coming out. So if you're college, if like Ron, you're into baseball, they've got for all of the series coming up here in the playoffs, you can do contests for that. I mean, it's just an NBA will be starting soon. And you'll be able to play that as well.
And NBA, it's literally just points and rebounds.
Right.
Like, who cares who's an 8-cat guy or a 9-cat guy? Right. Is DeAndre Jordan going to grab 20 boards tonight? Pick him and win money.
Right. So very simple to use. And in the same way with the NBC one, I think you mentioned that some 55-year-old lady who never played fantasy sports before won the big money on Sunday night.
It's always possible.
Just to show you how good I am at this, I got 0 points. I made 10 choices, and they were all wrong. So
it's 7 choices because it's Sunday night 7, and nobody could have seen the Saints doing that to the Cowboys except me because I had Saints money line. But anybody else would not have been able to.
Right. Basically, you need to take. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I just kind of look at it and go, I should pick that guy, and I should pick that guy. But that's what's fun about it. Like you said, 150,000 people played. Some random person won some good money, and good for them because that makes it fun for them, But it also takes out the skill factor pretty much that, you got to pick who scores first. I mean,
Bob, one quick note on that. I wrestle a lot with that term skill factor. And while I will admit that there is less skill in a game like this, what I really think it does is it removes the time factor. Right. Because if you take two people that have comparable football knowledge, but if you give them 6 hours to grind a DFS lineup and the other one's got, 2 kids and just wants to be actionable about their football knowledge and get in on it a little bit. That's why I think Boom is just so much more practical for a user like that who doesn't have time to jam 150 lineups and, read Evan Silva's matchup column until he passes out. Like this is literally the most casual way to have the most success playing fantasy. It's quick, it's fun. And the other thing is those sharks aren't there. You're not going to lose to the same names. You're not going to lose to any names because when you're answering 2 questions, 5 to 15, you're playing against us. You're not playing against a group of people.
Right. But as you said, you can have a little bit. If you want, let's say you don't have the time to put into it, we get it. Ron's got some young kids and doesn't have a lot of free time. He barely gets a chance to get on there. But he can go in and use the prop bet tool to do some quick analysis. So again, 2 codes that you need. Number 1, the code PropBet. You come and get the VIP access. You get the PropBet tool as part of that for the whole season. Then you're going to go to Boom Fantasy. You're going to sign up and deposit money, and you're going to use code BGFS, and you're going to get $10 more. So now you can put that $10 in and win $200, and all of a sudden, boom, everything's paid for. You've got the whole season ready to go. So definitely go out and do that. So, again, Rick, thanks for coming on. We're going to keep you on because we got to talk about our prop bets for the week. So the official, non-official gambling scenario. So every week we kind of pick some of our favorite choices that we see out there based on not only our thoughts, but also what the prop bet tool has shown as best bets. So, Ron, I'm going to let you start. If you got your own, fine. If you want to use Colby's, that's fine. We can talk about the tool itself, but kind of give us some of your thoughts on some of the numbers that you saw and the ones that you're kind of in agreement with.
Well, I think one of the first ones that you got to do every week is you have to just kind of look at what Patrick Mahomes is scheduled to do. And the first one, I know it's kind of shooting fish in a barrel with Patrick Mahomes some weeks because he's just kind of video game-like and just does all these incredible things. But I think you have to go with the over on the pass yards with him. That was the first one I looked at just because being a Colts fan, them going to Arrowhead, they're without Darius Leonard again.
On national TV.
On national TV, I have a feeling it's going to be kind of ugly for my Colts. But I kind of thought that since obviously Andrew Luck hung it up, and I had a little faith in Jacoby Brissett, I think that they're going to be able to stick with them a little bit.
I agree.
To the point where Patrick Mahomes is going to get enough opportunity to hit that 332.5 and go over. So I think he's going to go over. I don't know if it's going to be easy, but I think he's going to hit that over number on that bet.
Yeah, I agree, and that's actually one of my best bets of the week as well. Rick, what are your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes over 332.5 passing yards? Amazingly enough, the tool, the prop bet tool, shows that he's had 3 games where he's in this scenario, and he has hit the over on all 3.
Yeah, well, he's also coming off one of his worst games
of his
career in Detroit, and now he gets this absolute dream smash spot. This reminds me of the primetime game the Patriots and the Colts played a few years ago when the Colts were missing like 11 starters, and the Patriots just kind of did whatever they want on offense. I think the Chiefs are going from a very physical matchup against a tough Lions defense to an absolute cupcake matchup. The Colts were decimated by the Raiders last week at home, and that is everything you need to know about the state of their defense. Without Hooker in the back It's going to be really tough to keep the vertical plays down. And that was the whole focal point of the Colts defense over the last year, is minimizing the big plays. And in comes the number one big play offense in this generation of football. We've never seen an offense this explosive. So it doesn't matter if Tyreek Hill's healthy. I think the Chiefs are going to be able to do whatever they want. And conversely, and I think this is really important for props when you talk about game script and narrative, the Colts want to run the ball and keep Mahomes off the field. And if Marlon Mack's banged up, that's going to be way tougher.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So
over.
Yep. All right. So let's move on. So this week, one of my not my favorite pick, because I have Evan Ingram in so many leagues, and I so love Evan Ingram, but this week they've got a tougher matchup. They've got Minnesota. Granted, it is at home, but it's still Minnesota. Very good pass defense. They're bringing Golden Tate in. Regardless of all that, the system, the tool, says that in this game scenario where he's playing on the road or at home against a tough defense, Evan Ingram has a receiving yards of 67.5. He has hit the under. He's hit the over only 25% of the time, which means 75% of the time he's had the under in 4 games played. So as much as I hate to admit it, the system and real life kind of shows that Evan Ingram's going to probably I'm going to take the under on Evan Ingram. And where I might lose a prop bet and hope I'm wrong, I hope he has under 67.5 yards. But I hope he catches 3 touchdowns, so that'll make up for my fantasy world. And that's what I love about prop bets. It's like I can pick one and be right, and still have a good fantasy week, because if he catches 2 touchdowns, then it's all good. It's not a combination thing, so kind of fun there. So I'm going with the under. The system says go with the under. I'm taking the under on Evan Ingram. Ron, what are your thoughts?
I like that there. I mean, he's a focal point in that offense, but I was kind of with you on that when I saw just the data to back that up. And I mean, he could still be useful fantasy-wise. That's one of the things I struggle with too, kind of being a rookie at this, is I have to kind of separate myself from this from a fantasy standpoint,
right,
because I'm looking at just receiving yards. So if he's at 67.5, I'll take that all day long if he can pair that with a touchdown for my fantasy team. But he could still be very useful in that regard. But yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I think just the way that things are going to unfold in that, I think he's definitely underneath that 67.5 for sure.
Rick, your thoughts?
I'm so happy you brought up Evan Ingram, because I was going to bring up Evan Ingram. I'm all over that. I totally agree. We have Evan Ingram in the reception question for the 1 p.m. slate on Booms. I don't know if you want me to talk about that a little bit.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, because it's Zach Ertz, Larry Fitzgerald, Darren Waller, and Evan Ingram. And Ingram and Waller have been the high-volume guys, but they both have really tough defensive matchups against really athletic secondaries. Ingram going against Minnesota, and Waller in London against Chicago. I can't even get props on that London game. But when it comes to Ertz and Fitzgerald, they have a little bit softer matchups, and I actually like Zach Ertz over 5.5 catches against the Jets team, and he would be my recommended pick for that boom question. But I'm also in on a low day from Evan Ingram. But I also love the idea of taking the under prop and kind of buying your happiness a little bit, because if he loses the prop, your fantasy will have a good day.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I played that game this week, and I took Fitzgerald because Christian Kirk is out this week.
That's
and
right.
They're playing Cincinnati, so I'm thinking like 8 catches for him this week. I think it's going to be a big week for Fitz, but that was my logic in that. Not that Ertz isn't certainly a good choice and has a nice matchup as well, but yeah, I was kind of like with Christian Kirk out, that changed my idea. So what was that?
I said I think that's my Andy Isabella truther showing. my UMass boy is finally going to get some looks this weekend, although they're playing him on the outside, which is dumb.
Yeah, well, I think Fitz is too old now to be playing on the outside. He's got to play the slot.
Yeah,
but he does
does
such a great job. He does such a great job. It's kind of hard to argue with it. Ron, what's your next pick?
So one that I was kind of wrestling with a little bit, but it didn't take me very long to see that I think that I do really like it a lot. I'm going to go Zeke Elliott over the 105.5 total yards. And that's another thing too, yet again, I'm the newbie to this stuff. So I got to keep in my brain, we're looking at total yards, not just rushing. And so, they're going against, who are they playing this week? Green Bay? They're playing Green Bay.
Yeah,
okay.
Green Bay.
All right. Making sure I was reading that right.
Yeah.
So when I look at what Green Bay's allowed to the running back spot. They've allowed the second most rushing yards, 525, and they've allowed the seventh most receiving yards to running backs at 217. So that, to me, kind of adds up to you have a guy coming in that's the focal point of the offense out of the backfield. I think he could definitely hit that 105.5 mark, over that for sure.
Gotcha. Rick, your thoughts?
That was Zeke rushing yards?
No, that's total yards.
Oh, total yards. Oh, total.
Yeah.
It's like 100 dudes. I was like, oh, geez. I love that. I love Zeke's involvement in the passing game as a way to get more usage out of their best offensive player. I like this as a nice bounce back spot for the Cowboys offense. They could be real physical against the Packers, who have a very well publicized bend but don't break philosophy when it comes to stopping the run. They will concede moderate gains between the 20s in turn for holding you to field goals. And I think that is a great formula for the other team's feature back. So I love that.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. I think we've got some great picks here. But, Rick, I'm going to let you be the last guy to let us know if you've got some picks, one or two picks that you really like right now. Go ahead in this weekend.
Ooh, man, you really put me on the spot here. I do like that Ertz catch, but I'm going to take the Fitzgerald prop too. I think I'm just going to take them both and have myself a little Sunday. Because I did really well on some combined props on Thursday. But I also like Christian McCaffrey rushing yards. I think that's a tough spot. And I think DeAndre Hopkins could have a nice bounce-back game. DeAndre Hopkins has seriously underperformed to start the season.
The whole Texans offense is underperformed.
Yeah,
I think it's just it's a product of the entire team underperforming.
Yeah.
I mean, if you drafted Deshaun Watson and like you said, Hopkins and Fuller and all these guys, it's been rough. Our good friend and usually on this show with us, Colby Conway, lives and breathes Houston Texans, and I think we've had to talk him off the ledge a few times so far in the first 4 or 5 weeks. So we're hoping for a big week out of Hopkins as well. Interestingly enough, his receiving yards, he's been under. It's not a big number. So he's played 5 games. In that scenario, 40% hit the over, so that means 60% he's been under. I'm not sure I'd play it. That's almost too close to call, and like I said, he's due for a breakout, so I'd probably either stay away from it or pick the over anyway.
Another guy in that game also is Will Fuller, who's getting a ton of air yards, and you just got to feel like he's just missed a few too many times. And there's no phrase I hate more in fantasy than he's due. But when it comes to air yards, it kind of feels that way. And with Kenny Stills out of the lineup, it's just those few extra looks that Fuller might need to break. I mean, 57.5, that's realistically one catch for Will Fuller on a good day.
Yeah. And sometimes I've played these prop bets where, you take, especially a deep guy, deep threat like that, like a Deshaun Jackson and, and John Ross and that, you take the over on the yards, but you take the under on the receptions because you're just expecting like they'll catch 2 for 60, and have 2 big bombs. And there you go. You win them both because that's what they are. They're just deep threats. And, they're not going to get 6 catches for 60. They're going to get either 2 for 80 or they're going to get, nothing at all, which is sometimes if they miss those deep plays a lot. So cool. All right. Well,
Metcalf is starting to fit. He's becoming that guy. You got to identify those guys early, like Will Fuller. And DK Metcalf, I think, is the next generation of that guy.
All right. Well, Rick, thank you again for coming on. Why don't you tell everybody again just quickly about Boom, where to go, the app, the website, the obviously use the code BGFS, and then we'll kind of tip on out of here.
Well, you tell them to use the code. I can't tell them to use the code. I can just tell them.
Oh, okay.
Go to the
That's
app
fine.
store, get yourself Boom
You
Fantasy.
can't be biased.
Free to sign up. Free jackpots all day Sunday. You got nothing to lose. Boom Fantasy in the App Store, at Boom DFS on Twitter. All sports, all questions, no sharks, very casual, big money prizes. And don't forget NBC Sports Predictor, the official game of Sunday Night Football, baby, Sunday Night 7. That's totally free as well. Boom Fantasy, come get our free money. That's not our slogan, but I think it should be.
That is, yeah. Come get our free money. We're giving it away.
Thank you so much, guys,
when
for
you
having me
sign up, make sure you use coupon code BGFS for Big Guy Fantasy Sports. That will get you an extra $10 in your coffer. So definitely do that so that, if you put $10 in, you get another 10. Regardless of what you put in, I think you got to put at least 10 in. But anything 10 or more, you get $10 extra just because of that code. So make sure you do that. So, Rick, thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate that. Ron, why don't you tell everybody about Consistently Cashing, where they should check that out, both podcast and Artie Gold today.
Yeah, check both over at BigGuyFantasySports.com. Try to get off the schneid from last week. Last week was the first week that I hadn't cashed in either one. That's actually the first week I did not cash in FanDuel. So hoping to right the ship a little bit this week. We got some Austin Eckler picks on there. I think
You're
this is his last big week. So we'll see.
You're due.
Yes, we are due. I'm due.
Awesome. All right. Once again, thanks, guys. Thank you, Rick, for being here. Thank you, Ron. Colby is somewhere, somehow out of the picture, but he will be back next week on Prop It Like It's Hot. All right. When we will be out of here, we'll see you again next week. And don't forget, go get some free money.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.08%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. Pay 1.25% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Here's an equation that adds up to big savings. Let's do the math. Get Xfinity Internet and Xfinity Mobile together. That equals awesome in-home Wi-Fi and the best LTE on the go. It's the ultimate coverage solution. Plus, save hundreds of dollars a year on your wireless bill with Xfinity Mobile. It's basically the perfect equation. Xfinity makes saving simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com/savebig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Wireless savings compares to averages of top providers.